Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well as we are now about at the halfway point of our semester. And as with the previous weeks, this week we are going to break down the week 4 announcements so you kind of have an idea of what to expect. Essentially, now that we're halfway, we are at the first major writing assignment, which is either going to be an evaluation or an analysis research paper. I announced this last week, so you've had a week to sort of kind of contemplate what exactly it is you want to write about. One thing I will suggest, as I did last time, is that if you have questions, make sure to ask them early. Remember, I will look at rough drafts if you email them to me, but you have to remember 2 things. 1, make sure to ask specific questions regarding your draft. Ask me about your thesis, ask me if you're hitting on the key points, ask me about organization. But if you leave the questions vague, you'll most likely get a vague response, so always be sure to be specific or provide areas of concern. Also, remember that I will look at rough drafts up until Saturday, July 1st. I do not look at assignments the day they are due, so make sure that you get those in, especially during this week when you only have 2 major assignments which are due, and I'll break those down for you right now. So the first assignment is the evaluation quiz. Like you guys did last week, you had an analysis quiz. This week, you guys have an evaluation quiz. Under the individual writing section, if you click on it, you will see the evaluation comprehensive. As always, you may copy and paste this material, or you can download it here at the bottom. I would suggest downloading this and then saving it so that you have a file available for you. As with the analysis quiz, it is broken up into 3 sections, 4 if you count the extra credit. The first section essentially is a matching section. Like with the analysis quiz, I give you 5 different types of theses or statements, and your job is to establish what type of evaluation is it. Is it making a judgment about quality? Is it establishing a ranking or comparison? Is it exploring criteria used to make an evaluative judgment? Or is it challenging some sort of evaluative judgment? I would suggest looking at the context clues, the wording of each thesis. If you see something to the degree of a challenge like despite, although, however, you might have an evaluation that is challenging something. If you see something with a list, you're most likely looking at a list. So keep that in mind. In part 2, you need to make sure that you enter the evaluative conversation by using 2 different types of evaluative criteria. So you have the 4 criteria above here. Your job is to pick 2 different topics and apply the 2 different types of evaluations to them, or to establish what type of evaluation is being addressed there. So in this case, I've given you some example articles that you may utilize if you want to use these articles. You can also use videos from YouTube. You can use your own articles, but just make sure that you identify the type of evaluation you are observing. And then in part 3, observe one of the topics you have chosen and challenge it. Establish the issues you have with the topic, then provide a critique or argumentative claim that opposes it along with at least one supporting source. Make sure to provide a link to the source and explain how the source reinforces your claim. So in this case, you want to make sure that you are challenging your particular topic here and you are providing a source that helps support it. Make sure to give me the link to that source and make sure to summarize it. Lastly, there's an extra credit section here for a job evaluation. Provide me an evaluation of your current place of employment. If you are currently not employed, observe or discuss a friend or family member's place of employment. Describe the job and the expectations required from people who work within and customers, patients, visitors, etc. So remember that criteria are essentially just your categories of assessment. In what way could this particular job be better? How could it be more effective? What are the benefits? What are the downfalls? If you were critiquing the particular job, what would make it better? Secondly, the first main writing assignment is due this Sunday as well. The second, it is either an evaluation or an analysis. Remember, under the research paper section, you have both the writing to evaluate area and the writing to analyze area. Just to kind of backtrack for a second, for the quiz, remember you have access to this folder. You have access to all the different PowerPoints and the videos and the essay examples. If you need assistance with any of that, you can utilize those for the quiz. As far as the research paper is concerned, if you click on the research paper assignment, again, you will have all the information regarding it. A minimum of 1,500 words, has to be a minimum of 4 properly cited sources. If you have a question about a source, for instance, how to cite a YouTube video, a video game, a different sort of online source, you can either email me or you can access the Purdue OWL, which I made available for you under the announcements page here under week 4 or even under week 3. You have access to that as well. Make sure that you are providing me with either an evaluation. The particular essay here is presented, so you have information about your evaluation. You are doing one of these 4 things, or you are doing an analysis where you are taking your topic and you are applying a type of analysis to it. So whether it's authorial, psychoanalysis, minority, or cultural. I've had questions about what exactly the paper needs to be on. Keep in mind, anything that we cover in class, you may utilize as a topic, or you can pick a topic of your choice. So any of the individual writing discussions or group discussions that we've had so far, whether that's in regards to fake news, growth versus proficiency, privilege, any of the discussion board questions, or even any of the article topics that you might see on the evaluation quiz this week, can be topics. Or I would highly suggest picking a topic you're interested in, that you're passionate about, that you would either want to evaluate. It might be your favorite product. It might be your favorite video game. It might be your sports team. It might be a television show. Run an evaluation by it. Or a topic that you've been passionate about. You can analyze it. You might look at a minority perspective in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement, in regards to Blue Lives Matter. You might be analyzing something from a psychoanalytic standpoint. You might be looking at mental health issues. You could also do an analysis pertaining to a movie you've seen where you kind of do a combination of evaluating and analyzing, where you might be evaluating the movie in a series. Maybe you just saw the latest Marvel or DC movie, such as Wonder Woman, and you might address it and analyze it in contrast to some of the other Marvel or DC movies or superhero movies in general that are out there. But I can't restate it enough. The best way to get clarification is to ask questions. Please make sure to email me prior to Sunday, July 2nd if you have questions. Remember that for the individual writing assignment, for any time you have a quiz, it needs to be emailed to me. And for any of the major writing assignments or major projects, those need to be emailed to me as well. Both are due by 11:59 p.m. Sunday, July 2nd. Keep in mind, the easiest ways to lose points in my class are to either not turn the work in on time, as it will drop 1 letter grade per day that it is late, or to not meet the standards set for the paper. So remember, for the research paper, the minimum is 1,500 words and 4 sources. If you are below that, you will definitely get points taken off. I would highly recommend, because I advocate for students to always go above and beyond. The more you have, the better. A lot of times students will get above 1,500 relatively easy, but the best way to do it is to manage your time, is to ask questions, and to just stay on task with everything. Keep up the good work, keep up the good writing, and if you have questions, please make sure to email me.